It's time for another blistering report from the front lines of the cultural war for a constitutional America. And now, here's your host, Charles Benninghoff.
The background today, which is imagery of the Internet of Things, including phones, fridges, blenders, air conditioners, purses, and untold numbers of other electronic devices, is a largely untold message of alarm. How so? Let me explain. As an example, we're going to use a recent shutdown of a website. It was the largest conservative news site in the world, called the Drudge Report. And it's been taken off twice in the past week by cyber attacks. A lot of security experts are calling this a wake-up call, and I hope that it's a wake-up call for you too. As Americans are purchasing and demanding more and more smart gadgets that are connected to the internet itself is becoming less secure and less safe, and that makes your home and you and your family less secure and less safe as well. And as the attacks on the Drudge Report prove, even your refrigerator can now be turned into an instrument of doom. I know it sounds funny, but I'm very serious, and Congress needs to start talking about this issue much more seriously. I pray that our network of patriot activists will take action and call on Congress right now to pass new legislation that will protect the internet from these new and emerging threats. And today, I'll let you know how you can get involved in this fight. And if I piqued your interest on this subject or others, remember to hit the subscribe button, which is now appearing on your screen, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. But first, what happened to the Drudge Report? On December 30th, Matt Drudge says his site was knocked offline for 90 minutes. I personally witnessed this happen as I checked Drudge daily for news I couldn't get on. Drudge also says that it happened again on January 3rd. Again, I can verify this as I was unable to reach the Drudge Report for extended periods. Drudge says this was the largest attack on his website in its 21-year history, and he suspects that it originated from the federal government. Well, that means it originated from Barack Obama. His site was shut down by what is known as a distributed denial of service, or DDoS attack. Thousands of different internet-connected devices start pinging the Drudge Report at the same time. But what is pinging? Well, pinging is sending a signal over the internet to a known device, such as a website, and asking for the ping to be returned with a positive or negative answer. Positive if it was received, negative if it was not received. It's the very simplest of internet messaging systems. But when it's done millions of times over and over, it becomes a stone wall that other users of the internet cannot get through. And so this pinging clogged up the pathways to the Drudge Report so that legitimate users could not log on to that site. You might think this is not a big deal. This is just one website, and it's a conservative one at that, and it was only taken offline for a short period of time. But cybersecurity experts claim that America could be in store for much larger attacks in 2017 that could in fact knock out the entire internet for 24 hours or more. That could cause stock market crashes around the globe. You might not be able to purchase anything unless you have cash for it. That in itself would cause major financial and economic problems for everyone. Well, here's an even more frightening thought. Suppose a group of Obama's unvetted pseudo-refugees sets off a dirty bomb in a major metropolitan area like Chicago, which is easily blockaded, and then they use the pinging system to shut down the traffic lights for 20 minutes. A group of terrorists could cause mass casualties and chaos as well, and the instrument that they could use to accomplish this? Your refrigerator, your smart refrigerator connected to the internet. We now have an unprecedented number of products and appliances in our homes that are connected to the internet. This is known as the Internet of Things.
By now, you may have heard the term Internet of Things. Sounds interesting, but what does the Internet of Things actually mean? IoT is an evolution of mobile, home, and embedded applications that are being connected to the internet, integrating greater compute capabilities and using data analytics to extract meaningful information. billions of devices will be connected to the internet, and soon, hundreds of billions of devices.
Those household appliances are the devices that are used in DDoS attacks like the one on Drudge Report. The reason these attacks are called distributed denial of service is a points of attack sending pings are distributed worldwide. All the hacker has to do is find an internet-connected refrigerator that it can access, and then the hacker loads a simple program that will send out thousands of pings an hour. The fridge owner will never notice, as the pings in no way interfere with the cooling and freezing, lights and water functions. When most of us purchase a smart refrigerator, or a smart blender, or a smart TV, or a smart anything else, we take it home, we plug it in, and then we ignore it as long as it's doing what we want it to do. Most people don't take the time, and some just don't have the knowledge to reset the username and password on these appliances. And they're just like a laptop computer. In fact, they're more complex and more capable than the computer used to send man to the moon back in the 60s. So it sits there, and the username is user, and the password is password, which makes it incredibly easy to access. So all a hacker has to do is set up a bot, a small program that is like a robot. They just call them bots. And that bot logs into your refrigerator, and it pings the Drudge Report over and over again. When that is magnified by thousands or even millions of devices, a website or an entire internet can be shut down. Why does your refrigerator need a computer chip on it that's more advanced than the ones used to send a man to the moon? And why is it connected to the internet? I can remember a time when refrigerators functioned without having to use a Wi-Fi connection, believe it or not. Our team has done some research on this issue, and I can tell you that right now, Congress is not taking this threat seriously, but it should. Do you really think it's worth risking thousands or millions of lives and trillions of dollars in economic activity just so your blender can be pointlessly connected to the internet? We need to take this seriously, and we need to force Congress to take this seriously. None of the cybersecurity legislation being considered in Congress right now deals with this specific threat. If ever there were a time when we need new legislation to protect the public interest, this is it. And Congress can do this without being intrusive on everyone's freedoms. You have a right to own sophisticated devices, absolutely. And hopefully during the Trump administration, Americans will be able to afford refrigerators and other gadgets once again. We're not asking companies to make impenetrable devices, and we don't want to take anyone's right to own these devices away. But the public has a right to be free from the threat that open-ended web access-enabled television sets possess, as well as refrigerators and blenders and so forth. Why do they have open-ended web access enabled? That's the big question. We need a law that prohibits manufacturers from making the functions of a device needlessly expansive. If a refrigerator keeps the butter cold, there's no good reason to connect it to the internet or wire it up with a space-age computer chip. If there's a need to monitor the temperature of the butter, fine. Make the fridge report the temperature and other limited functions only. Don't let the fridge become an exploitable gateway to social chaos. It will take patriots like you and me speaking out to get Congress to take action on this. You can help by going to our action page and sending personalized letters to members of Congress. Bob Mallory will have instructions for you on the next screen explaining how to get to our action page, and I hope you speak out on this vitally important issue. This is Charles Benninghoff signing off and wishing you freedom, fulfillment, and God's many, many blessings.
Send personalized letters to Congress today through our system, demanding new protections from these easily preventable cyber attacks. If you're on our action page on our website, use the form next to the video screen to select a program. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, click the icon appearing now to find a link to our action page, or check the video's description to find the link. Speak out today.